A very good afternoon to all of you present here today, our distinguished panelists. They're very important people in the business cycle, and their advice, their views are very important to all of us. In fact, as a moderator, I too will be learning from them, because every time when someone speaks, you get an opportunity to enhance your knowledge. That's what a gathering is all about. Today's discussion, we are going to discuss something of the past, present, and future. This is what we are looking at. Most of us do know on the business aspects and the unity government which is moving forward, and how actually we in the business community can face and move forward. I have been in business for the last 50 years. I've worn many hats around in many business circles, in organizations and associations. I personally feel that still we have not done enough to take ourselves forward. While we always say that we have got the support from the government for businesses, the SMEs, the MSMEs, the PLCs and GLCs are already taken care of because they have got their platforms, but 97% of the businesses are SMEs and MSMEs, which is a huge amount in our country. Not only in our country, but throughout ASEAN. These are the figures. About 97% are SMEs and MSMEs. And we always believe in one thing, that the SMEs actually plant the seeds for them to grow to a certain level to bear fruits. Whenever someone says, when I was in my early days of business, I went for a dialogue session in India, and someone introduced me, Mr. Ramesh Kodama, SME for Malaysia. So he wanted me to pass views to some of the corporate people around. So when I said SMEs, a lot of heads turned around. What is an SME doing here to speak to CEOs and TFOs? But remember, my friends, SME stands for a self-made entrepreneur rather than a small and medium entrepreneur. A self-made entrepreneur is a person who builds the roots to create PLCs. The founders of business are all SMEs. And today, because of their effort, we are all moving here. Coming back to what we are looking at on the unity level and how Malaysia can move forward, I still wonder, after our independence in 1957, we are still known as an Indian chamber, Chinese chamber, Malay chamber of commerce. We don't call ourselves a Malaysian Chamber of Commerce, where all businesses can get together. When you talk to the minister, he said we have got a National Chamber of Commerce which is called NCCIM, which cooperates the Indian, Chinese, and Malay. You have to identify yourself as what you are to be in the National Chamber. So I think the record must be set straight. We must have a united Malaysian Chamber of Commerce, so that every businessman can work together, link together, and call himself a Malaysian businessman, rather than a Chinese businessman, Indian businessman, Malay businessman. We don't need that. If we want ourselves to be united, we have to pass this message across. In Singapore, they don't have such chambers. They call themselves the Federation Singapore Federation Chamber of Commerce, where all are there. If we can work on this level, I'm very sure that the business community will move forward and be united in handling things. These are my views, and we are going to express a lot of views along the way from our panelists. Please, this is the last session. Usually they say when you are seeing a movie, the ending is the most interesting part, because the story has just started and you must know what the end is. And today, we are going to end the session, and every speaker of ours is going to give his fantastic views so that you will know that how we are going to take our country, the unity government, the businesses, the perspective of all businesses, and move. Can I invite my first speaker, is actually a very important person at this session. I would like to call upon Dr. Peter T.S. Ng, founder and executive chairman of UCIS, to give views, because Dato has got a lot of experience in building his platform, going through the challenges, and what are the problems he has faced, and how we can overcome them by moving forward. Dato, please to you.
Thank you, Tan Sri. All right, time is running short, and we are going to have just a few minutes. Quite a number of us, I'm going to just quickly say a few things. We are to talk about national unity in terms of the perspective from the business community, the private sector. Well, obviously, national unity ultimately results in political stability, right? With a politically stable environment, it certainly will promote investment. It will also promote consumer to spend, right? So with what happened in the last 2 months in this country, and how many times I have heard directly from so many of my friends, be it Malaysians or international community, and they are very, very worrisome of what happened. And many have asked whether I have begun to divest in other countries in the world, and they have known that I have loved to stay in Canada. And many ask whether I have divested in Canada or not. And simply because of the instability in terms of the disruption that we saw the last few months in terms of national unity. Now, research has also shown that national unity and stability attracts FDI. And so this is crucial for Malaysia. Why? Because FDI accounted for a substantial 55.9% or 125.7 billion of total approved investment in 2023. Yeah. So with the lack of national unity, it will certainly disrupt the inflow of funds through FDI. National unity would also help a country to be resilient in terms of external shocks, in also black swan moments in any country. And you saw that we went through successfully in the COVID pandemic black swan situation. And thank God we have that united national unity in going through that phase. So that is another illustration of how the national unity is a crucial part of a nation building. I want to quickly also touch base on the model that Tan Sri Omar has so kindly developed and implemented at the UCSI University, and we call it as the Harmoni-Mesra campus. And this morning's numbers of speakers talk about this framework, and that is the three main elements, right, in creating the Harmoni-Mesra campus or an environment. Oftentimes, we will see companies through their CSR project, they create harmony moment or harmonious activities. But these are things that cannot sustain over a long period. And so we have created pockets of such activities. But the model that Tan Sri Omar talks about is substantiated. It is consistently able to last in a meaningful period. And that is what we call the intersection point between the three elements that we all talk about this entire day of the conference. And one of the elements is social element, right? We created a lot of social activities, such as Hari Raya would come together to eat in an open house. Deepavali would do that as well, and so forth. Those are just activities, right? You will not be able to be sustained in a long run, right? If not, this country would have been a really, really harmonious and united country. We've done this for years and years, right? But why are we still in the current state that we are in, all right? So that is only the social element. The next element he talks about is the rationale element. And that is the elements that need to deal with our mental capacity to think, to rationalize to why we are doing things the way we do, right? And for instance, in conferences like this, right? We organize lots of talks about about unity and so forth. This will give us the cognitive aspect of why and how. And this is very important. It is an important aspect that will glue the first two elements together. And finally, this must be translated into emotional element, right? And that give you the understanding, the feel, the compelling ones to involve in this sort of social activities, to think along that line. And so that intersection point is what we call this as what Harmoni-Mesra environment to be created. It will be substantiated, it can travel over a period and so forth. So from the community, business community perspective, I can only say that if we think in this direction, right, in whatever that we do, whether it's CSR project and so forth, it is not just a one-off project to create the harmonious moment, but we should think about how this can be actioned out. How can we put this into an agenda whereby it can be substantiated over a period of time? All right. So at UCSI, we have done quite a number of this sort of initiative, and it is participated not only just by the university, but the entire group of UCSI group. For instance, of late, we realized that what happened in the country would take far more than just a few articles. Prof. Tajudin, as you know, have written quite a number of articles about it. So we took action by apologizing one to another. And there were videos taken whereby the different races apologize to each other for a wrongdoing, knowing or unknowing, right? Because sometimes such an action, not only it promotes harmony among us, but it also allows us to think through and results in some very positive feeling about one another. Another thing we did was, for this last Hari Raya, we deliberately asked our non-Malay staff to sing, to record Hari Raya song. And we want the non-Malay races to be able to advocate the Raya spirit, and for them to also understand and feel the atmosphere of the Raya celebration. All right? So I know time is up, so I just want to say that 2 points, and hopefully there will be other questions as we talk along this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Peter. I think 2 points which I taken from Dr. Peter. Investments are very important for us to move forward. And the second point, what he said, should be made very clear. If you don't do a mistake, you are considered to be God. If you do a mistake and correct yourself immediately, you are human. But if you repeatedly do the mistake, you are a Satan. So, we in Malaysia, when we do a mistake, we should straight away correct ourselves so that we have a peaceful movement. Because we are a multiracial country, we cannot afford to hurt anyone. We cannot afford to speak ill of anyone. We must be a superhuman being to only think of one thing. We are together, we love each other, we move forward, and let the world admire us. That's the message that Peter told us. Thank you. Can I go to my next speaker? I won't go in a straight line. I'll call Mr. Asogan. Please, I know you might not be prepared. I always get surprises from people also.
Esteemed moderator, Dr. Ramesh, and my other distinguished panel members, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's about 3:30, and in KL, we always have this thing being very frantic, that 4:30 onwards, we have to leave, and I think everyone is rushing. But before I do this presentation, I actually represent the Human Resource Fraternity because I've been for the last 33 years in this fraternity, and I would like to put this in perspective how Harmoni-Mesra has a lot of relevance in the industry actually. So before that, I also like to thank Tan Sri Omar for inviting me. And just 2 months ago, Dr. Peter actually launched my book here in this same hotel. And I have the pleasure of being together with him in this panel here. Now, what we need to picture is this actually. A Malaysia where diversity isn't just tolerated, but accepted to be celebrated. Where unity isn't merely a buzzword, but a lived reality. It's a vision where every citizen, regardless of background, feels a profound sense of belonging and pride in our nation. This vision must be our true reality. Unity in diversity reigns supreme. And we have seen this word tolerance after 67 years of independence still being used in our country. I think we have to rise from tolerance to acceptance. It's only then we celebrate our diversity and we meet our unity, and that is where we will see harmony in this country. The problem is in the corporate world, we don't see tolerance. We see acceptance. Accepting only tolerance with the boss, because we have to tolerate the boss, whichever way we like it or not. But as a citizen in the country, after 66 years, I think we should not be tolerant anymore. We should be accepting our multi-ethnicity and multicultural aspects that we have. So why does a national harmony matter so much, especially for the business community? Let's talk numbers. A study by McKinsey found that companies embracing diversity are 35% more likely to outperform their peers. Diversity brings fresh perspectives, ideas, and innovation to the table, where employees feel valued, included, and they are more engaged and productive, leading to a better business outcome. Same goes for us as a nation. When diversity is celebrated, we progress tremendously. Here I would like to also borrow the Zulu tribe's word of the word Ubuntu. We are good as all of us are. So no man is an island here actually. But it's not just about profit margins in the corporate world as how we used to distinguish. National unity creates a stable and harmonious environment essential for business growth and investments. When society is cohesive, there's less risk of unrest or disputes that could harm businesses. So what could business community do to support this actually? It all starts with fostering diversity within our own companies. Now I'd like to ask here, how many of y'all are in the business community here? Could you all raise your hands? Oh, very few. So I could not be speaking the same language to all. Okay, this means implementing inclusive HR practices, providing equal opportunity for all, not just saying DEI, diversity, equality, and inclusivity without understanding its true meaning, and nurturing a culture of respect and understanding for everyone. Perhaps the first thing that we could do is removing details like race and gender from employment forms, if we really mean it. Yes, there are challenges. Embracing diversity isn't always easy. Cultural barriers, unconscious biasness, and all comes into play. But embracing diversity in businesses can tap into new markets and growth areas. So I would like to provide 3 practical steps on how businesses could move on this area. Oh. Again, going back. My God. Yeah. Yep. Here are the 3 practical steps. Number 1. First is, it's all about leadership. I don't think anything can beat leadership. Right up from a CEO of an organization to everyone in the company, they must believe in inclusivity and they must practice it. Existing their CSR efforts, embedding our principles, not only the principles of Rukun Negara, but going into the objectives of our Rukun Negara. Just like for the Muslims, Rukun Islam, we must make Rukun Negara as our Rukun and nothing else. Number 2, I'm not very sure how many of y'all have seen this code of conduct for industrial harmony in 1975. Maybe y'all have not heard about it. Just to let y'all know, in the industrial practice, this is the code. In 1975, the then Labour Minister, Dato' Lee San Chun, together with the Malaysian Employers Association and all, which is now MEF and all, signed this together with the MTUC as a tripartite code. The best part about this code is the part on the communication and consultation. It talks about how we are supposed to communicate and consult with each other for industrial harmony, for industrial relations. Then we move to the next part, which is the Industrial Harmony Index. I'm not very sure whether you all have seen this Industrial Harmony Index. The Industrial Harmony Index was actually automatically is an IPO by the Jabatan Perhubungan Perusahaan, which is the Labour Department, which is the Industrial Relations Department. In 2019, they came out with the index. The current index is 78.9%, saying that there's a lot of harmony in the industry. Now, what I would like to reflect on these characteristics of the industrial harmony is what national harmony is all about, isn't it? The ones that I bold. As long as we can work together, we can trust each other, we can respect, not suspect each other, and we are very friendly, just like we are very courteous and modest based on our 5th principles of Rukun Negara, very familiar with each other by accepting our plural society, reducing conflicts with each other. I think we have achieved harmony. And the 5 dimensions that is stated there in that index will cover this. So we have it, but the next question is how we can actually move this to a different level. Now, if you look at it, I have not mentioned anything about Madani for one reason, not because I'm not against it or for it or whatever it is. I believe prime ministers come and go. If you look at it, each prime ministers have come out with their own slogan. None of the prime ministers have followed each other's slogan. None of them has followed and solidified each other's slogan. So if now there is a new slogan, the next question is what's next? So I feel that whatever can be, the most important thing is to adhere to these principles of Rukun Negara. And I think Rukun Negara must stay just like how it stayed in Indonesia with the Pancasila. Presidents went and changed. In 1948, when Sukarno started this Pancasila, until today, after the current president and now Prabowo, I believe they still follow the Pancasila and not new slogans in that sense. So even in the corporate sector, we have this. CEOs come and go, but we don't change the slogan according to the CEO. We have a core value in the company. We follow the core value, we stick by the core value, and we live by the core value in the organization. So that even a CEO without that core value could be purged out from the organization because he is not having the same shared values and shared purposes in the organization. So with that, I would like to just sum up in giving you a thought. Unity among variety and variety in unity is the strength for Malaysia. And this is my quote on our Malaysian flag. In Malaysia, national unity is all about harmonizing the flags yellow, red and white, connected to the blue for our social well-being. With that, thank you.
Mr. Asogan, for your advice to the business community. But I was just wondering, the code solve which we are having for employers and employees, now we have about more than 3 to 3.5 million foreigners. How are you going to actually train them up to follow these codes? Or how are you going to tell your employers? Or how are you going to give them the work permit to come in before they really understand it? Because this 30% of the workforce in the country can actually influence the balance. Like what they say, if you have one bad apple, it can dirty all the apples. So this is something which we also have to think as we move forward. Yeah, now we go on to our next speaker, Dato Dr. Engineer Chin Yusin.
My good friend Dato Ramesh, we met many times in the same panel. Okay, this 2,500 years ago in China, Confucius mentioned that harmony in diversity, not harmony in diversity, not harmony in this diversity, something like that. So this is something like Malaysia context, put in the Malaysian context, like diversity, this is unity in diversity. So harmony in this diversity, this is what Confucius said. Malaysia context is unity in diversity, not harmony in disunity. That should be the right word. So how to promote what I call unity in Malaysia? I think politics is very divisive. This morning I'm talking about politics, very divisive. I think we can promote this unity through many other ways, like sport. Sport, I think everybody here, like last time Lee Chong Wei played the badminton, then everybody will support him, irrespective of races. I think this sport is one thing, is considered cross-cultural one, and there is no sensitivity there one. So everybody must promote sport activities. Like this, last time when Mokhtar Tahali, long time already, during my time, youngsters don't know. So when he play football that time, all races will support him. So there is no such thing as whether you're Malay, Chinese or Indians. So I think another one also, the food. Food is one that can really promote what I call unity. So now we have Bak Kut Teh got a bit of problem, but they misunderstood that Bak Kut Teh can be Chik Kut Teh, can be Kambing Kut Teh, or any other things. Not necessarily must be pork, you see. So I think food like roti China, I think all these laksa, all this become the universal food in Malaysia, or even internationally. This one of the top 10 food is this from Malaysia also. So I think food also can promote unity. And I think also the movies. When you watch a movie, you don't care who are you. So whether you're Malay, Chinese, Indian, doesn't matter. So everybody can watch the movie together. Another way, business, talking about business. Business is one that can promote unity also. Because businessmen only look for what? Profits. Common goal is profit. Politics, talking about what? Power and influence. So in order to get the power, they can incite each community to fight against each other. Recently, you can see so many instances because they want to champion their own race or become a champion to certain thing. They try to incite each race to fight against each race. So politics is very divisive. That's why this morning I'm talking about the two of them, we all the single race, racial-based party. Because, but talk about this business is different thing. Business, we are looking for profit. So the common goal is profit. That's why we can work with all races so long as we can together we can make money. Together we excel, together we succeed. So I think business is okay, it's color-blind. So who can make money for me? I will sort of give him more benefits. This is, business is supposed to be like that. So you must always reward, give the best reward to those who can help you to make more money. So I think business in the sense that is won't cause this unity. So that's why this, just now talking about FDI. So for FDI to come to Malaysia, there are a few factors. Not only normally we summarize the Paxtel. First thing is the political stability. Political stability comes from where? Racial unity. True or not? No racial unity, there will not be any political stability. So foreigners, you look at the country, they want to invest money. First thing, they look at political stability. Second thing is what? Economic stability. So you must see that the economy must be able to grow. How the economy can grow? There must be unity. No unity, the business cannot prosper, cannot sort of progress, you see. So that's why first thing still called the unity, you see. The third one, the best, S is a social cohesiveness or social cohesion. So there must be a unity also. That's why there's when the community is fighting with each other, you think the foreigners will come to US? True or not? Like recently, I think case, I think they scared a lot of foreigners. Instead, they want to come now, they're considering whether they want to come or not. You see? So I think third one is, the fourth one is technological things about green technology, digital technology, all these things. Then the fifth one is called the environmental protection. Now it's talking about SDG, what I call this, all these things. So that's why it's very important. Another one, the last one is the legal system. You must have a impartial judiciary system. Then the foreigner only will come in. So actually, for this Malaysian to achieve what I call unity, I think through business we have to encourage more Malays and Chinese to work together. For myself, my partner is a Malay. We are together to do the gold trading. So we are not Alibaba, no. We actually put in all the effort together. No. So everybody is contributing, not like Alibaba. So Malaysia, I think for Malaysia to progress, it must do away with Alibaba. So everybody must put in the effort. That's why we call the name, called Kylie Chin, KC Chin Network, KC Network. So we really work together. So I think if more Chinese, Malaysian, Indian all work together through business, I think there is not much racial thing already, because only politicians play up the issue only. If not, what is the difference between you and you? Nothing. So only the politicians make realize that we are different. You see? Actually, we are not different at all. So we are all Malaysians. So that's why politicians, they are very divisive. See? Actually, for this, Malaysia considered to be very blessed, because it's multiracial. Our multiracial what I call population is our strength. It's not the weakness, though. So look at the whole world now. Malays consist of about 60% of the whole population. So Malay can connect with the 2 billion Muslim market. This is a strength no other country can have. So another one, Chinese, Indian population #1 now in the world. So got about 1.4 trillion. So China also got 1.4 trillion. Both of them also consider about 20% of the whole population. So India can connect to the your Indian brothers. So many these are your Indians all over the world. Then the Chinese also can connect with the mainland of China, all this, Taiwan, all this. So I think we just make use of this resources we have. Actually, we can be very, very economically successful by using our multiracial nature, so that we can do business with all other countries. And then also we are the colony of British, so we also quite good in English, so we can connect with the European country, US market. Particularly, we can do business with the whole world, no problem for us. So that's why this is a very important thing. That's why we have to make use of our strength, rather than, that's why we must maximization of our strength, rather than we have to minimization of our weaknesses. Then only everybody look at each other, you won't feel anything. So unless you amplify people's weakness, then you look at him, everything he do also wrong, the way he talk also wrong, the way he walk also wrong. You see? Another thing also, how to unite the whole Malaysia. We must have a dream. This is very important. Because America, Martin King have a dream. I have an American dream, you see. So I think for China, got the China dream. Malaysia used to have the Wawasan 2020, now no more already. So you must have a new dream. Because when you have a long-term plan of goal there to achieve, everybody will try not to talk about differences among each race. So everybody focus on the goal we want to achieve to become a developed nation. Last time 2020, now I think not possible, maybe 2035. Like this, Indonesia also got a dream to become a developed nation in 2025. Indonesia also got many races, even more than Malaysia. China got 56 races. India got a lot, I think more than 1,000. So I think this one very important. Once you got long-term goal, everybody try to focus on this goal. Then you will talk about the small issue, petty issue about all the races. Then everybody will not quarrel already. They all focus on the long-term goal. The time is up already. Okay.
Thank you, Dato Chen. I think he has expressed 2 points very clearly here. He says that we need to be united to move to get the special access of the supply chain. Supply chain is a very important issue in business. If the Chinese are doing something in industry, if they don't supply to the Malays or Indians, then the Indians and Malays cannot move. So if the Indians are doing something, we don't supply to the other group, they cannot do something. The supply chain is very important now because of the geopolitical situation in the world. That's why you see Malaysia is taking a stand to be neutral. They feel that they want to trade with everyone. Whether it's China, whether it's US, whether it's India, we want to be in business to improve the supply chain. While we are doing that, actually, in a way, we are uniting ourselves to move forward. Thank you, Dato. Now we'll go on to the next speaker, Chin Chi Siong, who is from SME. And I think SME is a very important platform, as I said earlier. We'll get a good view from Chin.
Thank you, Dato Ramesh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chin, and of course I represent the SME Association Malaysia. Today is a very, very interesting and good topic that we, sit here and discuss all together. I think as a perspective of a business for SME end, unity is, in Malaysia, is always the main factor. Like you have mentioned that SME 97%, but the population of Malaysia still comprises of more than 60% Putra. And among others than this big group of race, but we always like to call ourselves Malaysian. It is all we want to have. Even though as a Malaysian, we always face difficulty, especially into doing business. So I would like to start talking about what is the advantage and disadvantage of Malaysia having this diverse race, and also among Malaysia, how could that unity be affected into our business performance or even our SMB business. If you look at the positive impact of it, the positive impact of having a Malaysian with multiracial country is that if we have a true unity kind of community, you have a larger market, right? We have a larger market. So for Malaysia, when we come about food, a lot of us will think of having a halal food, right? Because you cover a larger market. If you are just an ethnic Chinese, you probably have less than 20% of the market. And that is where this is a positive of impact that will impact our business community. The other one will be diverse workforce. You know, if you do not understand each other, you are not close to each other, you are not willing to hire the other races, right? And this is, of course, this is not so happen in Malaysia, but this is also the positive impact because we can have a Malaysian that whether you are Chinese, Malay, or Indian, we work together, you know, in a similar factory or in a similar corporation, and without, you know, having to doubt each other. And that is very important. Though we have certain differences in terms of our culture, in terms of our food, in terms of our living style, but come to business work or come to employment, we shouldn't have any issue. So this is in fact a so-called positive impact for the businesses. And also on social stability, if you have a good unity base of, you know, employment of peoples among the Rakyat, then the Malaysia in terms of general, that view by the external, the foreigner who is coming to Malaysia, they feel the social stability is there. So when they came in, you know, a lot of companies now come in from China. We know that. So when they come in here, they are looking for, you know, more talented worker now. Now they're looking for higher technology-based worker. So we hope that they do not have screen eyes. You know, they will, you know, there's no colorblind. You know, they come in, hire who is good, we hire who. So the social stability give them a good feel. In fact, to be frank, even though we have so much hoo-ha on the issue that we face lately on the sock, on the whatever shoe problem, but many of them still believe Malaysia is still a very united country as a whole. Of course, it's different when our time when we are young. I think Dr. Ramesh, we go through a different stage. When we were young, you don't even have to worry about anything about unity because we are all very united. Somehow or other, after 30, 40, 50 years, we are getting further away. I don't know whether it's because of the communication or because of any other factor, or economically or anything. So that is where we need the government to really study for these 50 years what happened and what can we change back, you know, to what we were before. So by looking at the business community, the positive back of it, then we know how to figure out what to put inside, what elements to do, what kind of a program they can put together to unite the people, whether especially in the workforce. All right, and of course they come positive impact. They also have a lot of negative impact, right? Like what we face, ethnic tension. This tends to happen, right? Because the tension mainly because of the religion, not so much on your color, you know, and my color. It's because of religion and the belief, and that probably because of sensitivity of certain element or maybe misunderstanding. And what Dr. Ramesh was saying, your quick apologize, you know, a quick action to it is always good. It's always easy for the other party to understand you. They feel that they are approachable, you know, you can talk to it, they can really discuss with you. And that is where the unity, you know, the elements will come in, right? And of course, the language is another barrier, right? I mean, there are still, I'm sorry to say that, there are still a lot of Malaysian Chinese couldn't even speak proper Malay, right? Which is also not so good. But because of the so-called our educational system, they may make them, you know, have some barrier. But that doesn't mean the unity cannot be happening, right? Even though you can't speak Bahasa Malaysia, but you still probably can speak a bit English. And probably if you have a medium or language that can communicate, that's more important. And, but if you look back at 50 years ago, in fact, most of the, you know, our forefather, they don't even speak good Malay, but they can speak Kampung Malay, right? And that is where they, even without doubts, they don't doubt each other. They work, they live closely, you know, there's where the real unity we see. So similarly, we want to see that in the business environment as well. So, and then other than language, you talk about policy. The policy involved is where the government come into play, right? You know, at one time, the Bumi quota is an issue, right? And that is always when we were young, we feel it very much. But when we grow older, we can understand why that is happening. But of course, I do hope the government can slowly, you know, turn away from this and go into more talented, you know, more credit-based kind of society. So, but this is what we face. We can't do anything about it. This is where a new economy, you know, the policy came into play many years ago, right? And overall, if you look at the unity, you know, in Malaysia, in terms of business, I could say that we are still above average, and you know, you're on top, like 80% of business people among themselves. They have no doubts of doing business. I mean, a lot of our SMEs, manufacturer, service provider, the majority customer still the Malay, because they are the largest, you know, community. And they feel very happy to work as a Malaysian. Let's work together to look for how could we work together, you know, whether in business community, the government agency, as well as, you know, having event like this, you know, to bring our message up to the people, and then at the different age group of different stages of life that we face, so that, you know, we can provide a better information, a better suggestion for the relevant, probably the Ministry of Unity, to look into how to make Malaysia a better place for unity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chin. I think he has explained and deliberated on SMEs. Actually, SMEs in this country provide 40% of the employment to our citizens here. So SMEs are actually a very important sector. And SMEs also have got their own challenges. Looking at their new startups, even startups when we have, like how we are planting some trees, not all trees will grow. There will be a number of failures. Out of every 10 plants you plant, maybe 2 will start bearing fruits. It goes in the same way as SMEs. So SMEs actually have got a struggle from the start. So they start building themselves, they drop down, they start building themselves, they drop down, they start building themselves, drop down, start building themselves, then they start moving up with the experiences they gain. SMEs find it very difficult to get finance. They can't get finance, why? Not because of any other reason, because they don't keep their books properly, because they cannot manage their businesses. Why they can't manage their businesses? Because when SME starts, might be the husband and wife are doing the business, or they have got a family member doing the business. So they cannot look into everything. So you go to a bank, he'll tell you you have got a secrecy problem, you have got a SICOS problem, they don't approve your loan. Then they go to the SME Corp. So SME Corp will give them a loan. How much? 5,000, 10,000. So that is enough for them to manage their expenses for 3 months. So the struggle of SMEs in this country is quite a lot. But the government is trying to help. But I think various platforms like SME Group, SME Corp, they are trying to help these businesses to overcome this. Thank you for highlighting. I think we should actually do a further research on SMEs in this country, how they can grow. Because SMEs in Singapore are doing very well. In Thailand, SMEs are moving forward. In Vietnam, SMEs are moving forward. We have become little stagnant. We have to see within the next few years how we can move this SME grouping to a different level. I think that will be a good thing for the government to do. Thank you. Now, the grand finale. Every time when you have a talk, you have a speech, there will be a very important speaker. And I have thought to myself that instead of giving the lady the first go, we'll tell our Dato' Azlin to speak now, because that will be the grand finale. She'll give you all the thoughts what she has. To you, Dato'.
Thank you so much, Dato' Moderator. All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon to all of you. And thank you so much for staying until for something. That's nice to have you here. Actually, I have never spoken in a National Unity Forum before. Right? This is the first time that I'm speaking in a National Unity Forum, and I think, like Mr. Chin said before, in our generation, national unity is like it's natural. it's just accepted, and we embrace our diversity, and we have lots of friends who are multiracials and all that, and we don't even think about it, right? But now, I think it's due to politics and social media, that things get a little bit heated up sometimes. But I think on a day-to-day thing, for all of us who are in business, I think it's okay. I think it's under control. I believe so, because I think some of us are actually on the ground, and I think it's under control. And of course, national unity is crucial to businesses. All right. I mean, we need the stable and secure environment, right, and for people to work together, right, so that we can do our business properly and contribute, to employment, to economic growth, to the prosperity of the nation. I think that's very important. And also, as Dato Ramesh mentioned just now about the supply chain, if you see, right, our supply chain of each product, it can be a halal product or whatever it is, right? There is a collaboration of, people from all races actually in Malaysia. So it's just that we don't see it. Sometimes we think that, this is a halal product. But actually behind that halal product, there's some contribution by all of the races, right? So we need that collaboration to enable us to produce more good quality, innovative products and all that. And also, all right, if we are together, we are a harmonious bangsa Malaysia, the consumer base will also be across the board. That means if it's a halal product, for example, it's not seen as, that's a halal Malay product. It's for all. It's for all. And of course, for the Chinese-related products, as long as it's halal, it's okay lah. Because some products, we cannot take it because it's not halal. Right, but the fact that if we are together, that means the consumer base, the market will be big for all of us. Right, and that will spur the growth of the nation and also invite investors to come in. So it's important. Nationality is important. So today I want to share a little bit from the point of view for women entrepreneurs. All right. So women entrepreneurs, right, we make up about 20.6% of the SMEs in this country. Okay, and that leaves a lot of room for improvement, right? Because if you think about the population of Malaysia, we are half-half. We're about 50-50, but in terms of women entrepreneurs or women-led businesses, we are at 20.6%, so we can still improve there, right? But my own experience being involved in NGOs, right, of Women Entrepreneur Associations, I was the president of Peniagawati, right? Peniagawati is the oldest women entrepreneur association in this country, which was started in 1980, all right? It's the first one, and it was an association to develop Malay women entrepreneurs. Okay, because according to our founder at the time, she was working in a bank. She found that there were not many Malay women entrepreneurs. So she wanted to have an association to develop these Malay women entrepreneurs. So comes back to what Dr. Ramesh said just now about, in Malaysia you have this Malay Women Entrepreneur Association, you have this Chinese Women Entrepreneur Association, Indians, and you have, according to the races. But I'd like to share this story about how when we started in 1980, being an association for Malay women entrepreneurs, 10 years on, there were a lot of women entrepreneurs of other races who wanted to join in, who saw that, this is good to have this association. It helps us to grow, all right? But they were not Malays. So we cannot admit them in Peniagawati because our constitution is only for Malay women entrepreneurs. So what we did was that, all right, when we saw that there were many, all right, who were interested, and we actually want all the women entrepreneurs of Malaysia to flourish. All right, I mean, we are not like thinking that means it's only for us. We want everyone, all right, to have the access to an association. So what did we do? So Peniagawati actually seconded some of our committee members to form NAWEM. I don't know whether you've heard of NAWEM, but NAWEM is National Association of Women Entrepreneurs Malaysia. Some people always say that NAWEM and Peniagawati are like rivals, but that's actually our child. All right, not many people know this history. And NAWEM was actually born because Peniagawati felt that we want to have an association which is multiracial, so that other people, other women entrepreneurs can join in and get, the benefits of an association. So just to share with you that, to show that it's actually, I mean, when we talk about women entrepreneurs in Malaysia, we are concerned about everyone, all right? And currently, we are forming this Federation of Women Entrepreneur Association Malaysia, okay? And now it's in the process of being registered. We already have 30 women entrepreneur associations which have agreed to come into this federation. And why are we having this federation? It's to get everybody together, right? To get the Peniagawatis, the NAWEM, the Malaysian Chinese Women Entrepreneur Association, Malaysian Indian Women Entrepreneur Association, and everybody to come under the same umbrella, so that when we push for the policies, everybody will benefit from it, all right? And everybody will, because you see, we have 70 odd women entrepreneur associations in Malaysia. It's a lot, right? So it's fragmented. So if we come together, it will create, the connection, the collaboration, the trust, the respect, with each other. When we are all together in one umbrella. So this is what we're trying to do under the federation. And I think once we have the federation registered, we can have more programs to instill this. I think we got to develop this trust and this respect and empathy for each other. Sometimes it's like we may think that we are close to our, like for me, my Chinese friends, my Indian friends, but sometimes the understanding is not in the level where it should be. I just share with you some this thing that happened to me when I was in Rotary. I was in Rotary Club, right, where I was like the very few Malay women in Rotary Club, right? And we had no issue, I mean, in doing all the programs and all that. But when they wanted to invite me for a meal, they will tell me that everything is halal. Okay, they'll tell me everything is halal, and they are very excited to say that everything is halal. Don't worry about it, because they know that I can only take halal food, right? But when I ask them, so what is it, right? I mean that you understand to be halal, all right? So then they will tell me that there's no pork, all right? That there's no pork, right? But actually halal, I mean, as I'm sure you know, it has to be. I mean, even if it's beef, it has to be slaughtered in a certain manner. All right, so it's to them, they have understood halal enough, all right? But then it comes is Malay, all right? And because we are friends, it helps them to understand that halal is more than that. And it's not that I cannot eat, I mean, it's not that I don't want to eat this, but I can't, all right? So I think we need to have more programs like that to instill that trust amongst each other, all right? And I think women entrepreneurs can play a big vital role in this. I'll pass it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Nazlin. I think you heard about the women entrepreneurs. Women entrepreneurs are actually a very important group. So now Datin says she has got 70 members. I think from the Indian side, we'll give you another 10. Don't worry. Make your group grow bigger. Unite the women more so that we can grow together. It's very important. The greatest people who unite each other are the women, the families, the children. They play a very important part. If the woman tell you no, 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 then the husband says no, 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 the children say no, no, no. Then no unity. So the women entrepreneurs play a very important part. So we hope that we work together with this group to see how we can grow ourselves into a united Malaysia. Okay, with that, I think if there are any questions from the floor, Please direct them to whoever you want to so that we'll answer them.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello.
So this is a very good event. Hopefully it can be organized at the right time, at the right place. For example, to encourage more participants, especially. Yeah. I have question about when somebody suggested to not to mention about race in our forms. I thought if we exclude race, are we forgetting our roots? This is one thing. I think one religion is supposed to be excluded because religion, the aspect of religion is something very personal. What we believe is no other people's business. It is our business. What we believe between us and God is our personal business. That should be excluded from any forms. But race, maybe not. Because if we exclude race, we are neglecting our roots. Okay? And regarding the Rukun Negara, the first item is about believing in God. But I wonder how many people really know about the notion of God. What is their interpretation about that? See, this is something we don't really know to what extent people understand about the notion of God. So maybe these few questions, the panel can try to enlighten us.
Thank you, my dear friend. I think these are two issues which are quite sensitive, but I'm not an imam or a high priest in the temple. But I can tell you one thing. All of us have got a belief. All of us have got a religion, unless you don't have one. If you have a religion, your religion will tell you what is God. If you are a Buddhist, they teach you what Buddhism is. If I'm a Hindu, my scriptures teach me what my God is and what my belief is and what my rights are. If I am a Muslim, the Quran and the Imam will tell you what are the rules of your religion. So we don't have to teach each other our religion. We all know our religion, we know the roots of our religion. That's what the Rukun Negara says, to believe in God. If we do not know that, then that's a different situation. So your first question was? This was your second question. Your first question.
It's about should we include the race? And second one is actually, should we include the religion in the formal forms or IC or so on, things like this?
I think I can answer that, Dato'. Yeah, I think I raised that up in my suggestion, just to thanks, Dato', for settling the second question. Now, just to let you all know, actually, what my suggestion was on the employment form. You see, during the employment form, when you are applying for a job, there must be just merits in terms of your capacity, your capabilities, how to perform the job. Because usually, when an employer looks at you as a candidate, they are looking at a fit. Now, when you look at a fit, the first thing is there is a job to person fit. That means how the person fits to the job. That means in terms of the job description, whether he's meeting the criteria. The next fit comes in terms of the cultural fit in the organization, whether you are able to be assimilated with the core values of the company. These are the most important crucial factor in employment. My suggestion is actually when you remove these from the employment, that means you give less significance to this kind of personal things, you know. But nevertheless, upon you being employed in the company, you can actually put this information because for statistics purposes and all. I don't think by you removing race and all, you will forget your roots. I don't think that question should arise. Because in an employment situation, it has to be just on merits. This is my thoughts.
Okay, if I may add, I think there is no one form fits all. There will be situations when ethnicity is important. When we come to the study of diversity, we want to know how rich this country is, from how many multi-ethnicities that we have. When it comes to research, I think this sort of information would be very important. But when it comes to employment, I totally agree, with our speaker that it's not necessary. Why would race matter when it comes to issues such as that? So it all depends. Yeah.
I think many people suggest to do away with the race in the identity card. I think this is a good suggestion because since we are all Malaysian, what for you need to tell people that I'm a Malaysian Chinese, Malaysian Indians, Malaysian Malays, all these things. So we must call all Malaysians because in other countries, they all put themselves as American. They don't care whether they're black or the white. The white also divided into many white, you got the Hispanic, you got the what calls Anglo-Saxon people. There's so even Germans. There are so many white people. So they're just American people. In China also same. They just put down they are Chinese. So I think this thing can unite our country by do away with all this identification with the identity card. Just like I talk about God. Of course, God to certain when we study this what I call religion, because I studied religion before. So to some people, they think that God is the only one. That's why I call it Maha Esa. To certain religion, they think that there's only one God. So they one can consider as a religion. Those believe got many gods, like the Indians. India got many gods. Chinese also got many gods. They don't classify this as religion. So this one is what I call the classification according to some what I call the researchers, all these things. So that's why I think this one, the God is depends on what religion you believe in. Like Christianity, actually is not only one God. They call it Trinity of God. So that's why this one is very divisive. I think you put our religion there or not put religion, it doesn't really matter. Only the race one better don't put because the one you want to show the what I call the united front of Malaysian. That's.
Thank you. I think we are up with time. It's exactly 4:30 now. There's someone there. Please. Okay, that's the last one. Go ahead.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam Harmoni-Mesra. Nama saya Adi bin Hasim dari Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia. Dalam konteks latihan, Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia memberikan latihan penerapan nilai perpaduan kepada pemimpin dan pengurus pendidikan, yang mana kita menekankan 3 elemen: menerima, menghormati dan menghayati perpaduan. Persoalannya, pengurus dan pemimpin pendidikan ni kita dah latih. Maka hasil akhir iaitu pelajar ini keluar daripada sistem, bagaimana nak disambut di peringkat swasta atau institusi-institusi yang lain. Adakah juga perancangan yang dibuat seperti Kementerian Pendidikan tu ada? Contohnya dari segi memberi aktiviti-aktiviti itu berteraskan 3 nilai tu: menghormati, menghayati dan menerima perbezaan di kalangan kita punya pelajar-pelajar, supaya mereka lebih menghayati apa yang diajar di Kementerian Pendidikan tu dalam konteks rukun negara tu sampai di peringkat pelaksanaan sebenar, mereka keluar daripada sistem. Itu persoalan. Terima kasih.
Okay, I think I'm really earning my lunch today. I earned it well. Just to sambut that soalan, Encik, actually in the swasta, in the private sector, we have actually all these in place. In fact, there is a lot of interventions. We do this through interventions. We do through programs. Even the word core values that I mentioned earlier, nilai-nilai teras, it's from there that we embed these areas in terms of values, just to follow the company's core values. If you would have realized in my speech just now, and my sharing, I also suggested that companies need to start embracing and embedding the Rukun Negara principles into their core values, some of those areas. But it is all very difficult because if you would have, I think Dato' Ari or Dr. Ari that's not told, the first 4 principles are very clear. The 5th principle is a bit difficult when you come to modesty and courtesy. How is modesty and courtesy? What is this word budi pekerti, like Tan Sri was telling, all has been forgotten. So how do we terapkan this nilai is where, in fact, I represent an organization called PUPO, an NGO. PUPO stands for Persatuan Usaha Sama Perkembangan Ukhuwah. Just to let you know that we work with UCSI on these areas of national values. I think the education ministry at the same time can help the industries. Actually, it has to be a partnership kind of a thing. We cannot just say that, oh, this is a school matter, this is an industry matter, this is a university matter. I think we have to cohesively work together. That means whatever that is done from the school comes to the university, because school is 13 years. If anything cannot be done in the school, nothing can be done in 4 years in the university because it's a sandwich period. And the biggest problem lies is 30 years in the occupational level. So 13 years in the school has to be done and corrected so that in the university and the company, they can just follow coherently this matter so that Rukun Negara principles can be embedded from school, enhanced in university, and solidified in the corporate sector. This is my thought.
Okey, saya nak tambah sikit kerana apa ni tanya sebab ada program yang diadakan di sekolah for this lah kan. Tapi soalan tadi kan about what is done by the private sector, the swasta. Sebenarnya I think kita ada Kementerian Perpaduan kan. Mungkin Kementerian Perpaduan tu boleh buatkan satu policy, satu guideline, satu direction, satu budget untuk kita do something about in the private sector. Because kalau kita cakap macam like Mr. Aswan said just now about the initiatives of some of the organizations, that is only some who can afford it, right? There's a lot who cannot afford it. So it depends on which association, which organization you are employed in, right? Jadi kan saya rasa kan kita ada Kementerian Perpaduan. Right, kalau satu guideline dan boleh dibagikan kepada semua, semua syarikat in the private sector, how to instill national unity to continue with the effort that you've been doing at work. Macam katalah for example baru ni kan akta kerja dia tulis itu kan about gangguan seksual, notice about gangguan seksual or something. So something that comes out from Kementerian Perpaduan untuk memberi satu guideline kepada private sector macam mana nak instill this national unity amongst the employees, employers and everybody. Alright, and mungkin some budget to be given for this so that we can implement it across the board for the people in the private sector. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have come to the end of the section. I think we had a wonderful session. I want to thank all the panelists.
Ramesh, is it?
You want to say something? Okay.
Yeah, I have a very quick question. Ryan Chan from Quantum Laser Science Lab, University of Malaya. Hi, panelists. I have a very short question since we are in fact out of time. Maybe I'll just direct this towards Dr. Peter himself. And this is to add a little bit on top of the previous question about what is the role of the private sector in all of this. Dr. Peter mentioned earlier on that he puts a lot of thought into where he invests or divests his capital, depending on how things play out on the world stage. So I would like to know very much on how he sees himself as someone with a lot of capital, obviously. how it wishes to invest its capital for things that make meaningful change, not only temporarily but lasting effects. Thank you, Dr. Peter.
Well, I thought it's the last, already last person just now. I could relax now. I honestly have not divested. I have not divested, and I have stayed faithful to the country to this point, right? But I think as a investor, as a businessman, obviously, one need to look at across the horizon, not just in one country. If the financial muscle could afford, I think probably diversifying does make sense, not just in terms of not just because of anything that goes wrong in the country here, but it can also mean that you are diversifying your risk portfolio as well. So it would be purely a business decision. Yeah, if I were to invest in other countries. So it would be, in this case, about my risk appetite. Yeah, so it would then become a business decision, not so much of, in this case, what happened in this country. So that would be my answer for your question. Thank you so much.
Okay, I would like to give the last comment. Just now talking about what we study in the school is all theories only. When it comes to business world, so for business very simple. They are very flexible people and practical people. They will look at, first thing they look at who are your customers. Once they know that, let's say Malay, they are the major customer, they have to study the culture of Malay, their buying behavior of Malay, all this they have to know very well, know how to sell the products to Malay market. So that's why if an Indian one, they have to study the Indians market also, the Chinese one also. So that's why for this, what you're talking about, this acceptance, all these things, when it comes to business, they will have all to do this. If not, Malay won't buy from them. Let's say they are Chinese businessmen. Like this, you know, at KK Mark, so many buyers, what call customer are Malay, majority. So you talk about this Hi-O. Hi-O also majority, they are Malays, no. So all these organizations, they will know what to do, how to attract these Malays to buy their products. So that's why I say, what they study in school is all our theories, but come to practical, they will know what to do. Because businessmen are very flexible and very practical one. If not, they cannot survive already. Thank you very much.
I think we have overrun our time. Thank you very much. I think our panelists have been very kind. They've been very cool. They've been very understanding to answer all your questions. And I would like to thank them for being here. Let's give them a big hand.